Can you imagine that someone who was inflicting brutal punishment on me, someone who was beating me mercilessly, had the audacity, in short, the temerity to tell me, well, if not of what I did to you, you wouldn't have been what you are today. Like, seriously? What am I today? Tell me, what am I today? Oh my gosh, I can't. I can't with some people. Shouldn't that be considered as child abuse? Come to think of it, what does a 5, 6, 7, 8 years old child know about the future? If not of this country that we are living in, that there are no laws, that should be considered as child abuse. You know, civilization is so far from some people. Maybe it is because they have not changed their environment, just to interact with other people, see how people are supposed to behave, see how kids are supposed to be treated. They just tend to normalize certain things in the society because they keep living in it and they think it's okay. It is not okay. I can't. I won't accept. It is not okay. Am I shouting? I hope not. Oh, please, don't be stuck in time. You have to travel. You have to interact with other people. You have to widen your horizon. Ladies and gentlemen, I am so sorry for all the rants. Without further ado, you are welcome to my humble abode. So, this is how my childhood story goes. When I was just a kid, yes, a kid, like 4 years old, my mama took me to stay with grandma, and they were staying in a thick forest, in the bush, in the village. Yep. So she took me to this village to stay there with my grandmother and my grandfather. Yeah. I'm trying to recollect, certain things, trying to put all the puzzles together because I was really, really young. But one thing that I know is my grandfather was alive when I got there. But later on, he passed. Anyways, my grandmother also passed, but she passed at, maybe 100 and something years. Yeah, she lived for so long. May her soul rest in peace. Okay, so when I got to the village, my grandfather was still alive, but he was sick. And I was staying with my grandmother. We were staying in a kitchen. Let me say sleeping, actually. We were sleeping in a kitchen. In that kitchen, we were sleeping there there were 2 beds, okay? And we were cooking inside. Yeah, everything, our clothes, everything was inside. But the compound was really big, My grandfather had his own side. And there were other sides also, but they were not really using, they were just packing things there, farming things, they can dry corn there, the doors were not really locking. The house was really so secluded. It was really in the deep forest, so isolated. I don't know about the area right now, but before, the next neighbor was 3 minutes away, and that was the only neighbor. The other neighbors were so far, okay? And the stream was so far, where I was carrying water. It was really, really so far. So growing up with my grandmother, I was really isolated. I did not socialize with other kids. There were no kids around. The only time I could meet other kids, or no, let me not say kids, boys, was only when my grandmother sent me to the farm, Yeah, I was always meeting people. Maybe they may come by or they may be passing or something. And then the other house, the house I mentioned, they had 6 boys, but they were all grown up, maybe teenagers. Yeah. And later on, they all passed. There was this other compound also, which is really very far, the footpath, if I'm going somewhere to carry water, I always, the footpath is just above the house. They all pass. And what happened? They went and stole something and they spoil. So there's this thing in the village, when you steal something, they go and spoil it, you know. So when they spoil it, it will affect you. So that is what happened to all these people. They all passed because they stole something, they spoiled the thing, and they all. So I really did not socialize with anybody. I was always with my grandmother, except when visitors come around, you know, maybe family or relatives, or maybe my grandmother's friends, you know. And what were they coming around for? To collect. They were coming around to collect, to receive. And that is how this my uncle came about. I don't know if it's uncle or cousin. And that is how he came about, because he was always coming around. Coming around to do what? To collect. Yeah, because my grandmother was doing farming. So at that age, I was also farming. You know, I was farming. I was the one doing the selling. So I usually carry things on my head and then go and sell very, very far. You know, there is this main junction, and then there is this other place where they usually have like the main market. I will walk all the way to that market. It is like 3 to 5 hours walk, or maybe more, maybe 7, you know, because the market is really far. So this is a market where you have to like take a bus to get there. So most people take a bus, but I was walking on foot. You see? You see what my grandmother subjected me to? And not only that, just the fact that I was the only girl around. Like, there are certain things I can't recall. Like I said, when I go to the farm, you know, I always meet boys when I go to carry water. And you won't imagine, my grandmother has this habit. She had this habit of always sending me in the night. She'll get up in the night, oh, you need to go to auntie this and take the tray. There is this main junction, and there is one of our aunties staying there. So I usually carry yam, because we were selling yam. We were selling a lot of things: yam, pear, mangoes, coffee, especially coffee. She made a lot of money from coffee because people were really buying. We were selling a lot of things, and all the yam and so on, I was one carrying and selling. So sometimes I usually carry yam and go, yam or pear or whatever, you know, I go and keep with this my auntie, you know, she put it in front of her house. So my grandmother has this habit of always sending me in the night, oh, go and carry water. And I had a cat. There was a cat, but later on, I don't know what happened. The cat just disappeared. So I was always going with the cat. And I don't know, later on, the cat just disappeared. So I was always going alone. Okay, so yeah, she'll send me go and carry water in the night. Go and take tray. And the junction is so far. I have to pass in between the bush, in between rivers. Go and sell. Go and do this. Go to the farm. I forgot this there. Go and get it in the night. I remember, like, I can recall this one time, like, my cousins came by for holidays or something, maybe a weekend, and my grandmother sent me the night, and they were like, stop going out in the night, it's not good, especially as you're a girl child. But my grandmother has this habit of always doing that, and if I don't do it, she'll beat me, or she'll lock me to sleep outside. So just imagine, at that age, I stayed with her from 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. So just imagine, at that age, I wasn't even allowed to be a kid. So just imagine, at that age, she was locking me to sleep outside. I was sleeping on this tree. There was this mango tree just in front of the door. No, maybe in between, you know, because later on my grandfather passed, okay? So I was just with my grandmother. So I'll go and sleep on this tree, or maybe I'll go and sleep in one of the houses. Like, the compound was really big, the houses were divided, but they were not really closing, okay? They were not properly, the windows were not proper, the doors were not properly made, so they were not really closing. So, and like I said, we usually pack like crops there, we pack farm, I don't know, we're just packing things, but it was not clean, it was really dirty, you know, like, so I'll just go there, you know, and navigate my way and, you know, just sleep. Oh, then the next morning, it's either we go to the farm or I have to go and sell, And then school, oh my God. They were also beating me in school. Come to think of it, yeah. Because I do not have books. They were always beating me, oh, where you don't have books, you don't have a pen, you don't have pencils. They were always beating me. So I was doing all this work, selling all these things, but my grandmother wasn't even taking care of me, because they were always beating me. And then, not to talk of strangers, when not even strangers, like I said, when relatives or whoever, as they come by to come and take, because their own is to come and take, I can't recall, I don't remember any of them working in the farm, because I was always working in the farm 247. I was always the one selling. They come by just to come and take. And when they come, my grandmother would tell them all these nasty things about me. I was the one stay with my grandmother, but people will come by because they're coming to take food or coming to take what, but she would tell them all these things about me and they would beat me. But I was the one staying with her, I was the one with her doing all the work, taking care of her, carrying water for her, farming, selling. Come to think of it, it's so painful. So something tragic happened. My grandmother sent me off to the farm to go get something in the night, and something happened. So when I got to the farm, I was sloping down the farmland by jumping in between furrows. I'm trying to make you understand, right? Jumping in between furrows. And what happened? Bam! I put my leg inside an ankari. I don't know if you understand ankari. I don't know the English term for it. We call it ankari, this is when you clear the grass and you cover it with ground and you burn. You get, yeah. So what happened? It was in the night. I could not really see. So, bam! I put my leg inside. Luckily, 1 foot. So, I started shouting. So, let me show you. This is when I was like 7 years old. So, you can see the reason you're still seeing these marks. It is because I dug the flesh off with my fingers, So, when it happened, I put my hand like this and I dug the flesh off, so my bone was showing, And somebody was around there. The person shouted, don't touch, don't touch. Who knows? My leg could have been destroyed by now. Come to think of it, my grandmother did not take me to the hospital. This grandmother of mine did nothing for me eventually. Okay? All I can remember is just receiving beatings from her, beatings from strangers, beatings in school. It was like a perennial thing, like a continuous thing. She never really did anything for me financially. And I was always dressed like a village urchin. One thing I can't, and I won't accept is for somebody to take pride in what they don't deserve. You can't come and tell me, oh, it is because I discipline you. That is why you're like this today. Hell no, you lie. I was just a kid. I wasn't allowed to play. I wasn't allowed any toys. I had nothing. Nothing. Seriously, that environment wasn't conducive for a kid. And it only struck a chord when I traveled to work as a nanny. That is when I was like, oh my gosh. These people, they are so protective of their kids. They have nannies, they have maids, they have this, but they are so skeptical. They give their kids everything. They want their kids to have a happy childhood. Toys, whatever their kids want. They discipline their kids. They educate their kids. They try to caution them. They try to teach them. Nobody ever told me anything growing up. I wasn't even allowed to be a kid. When I saw all that, I was like, oh my God. So I was in this environment, rimmed with all these people who were abusing me. Anyways, you guys, it would take me a great deal of time to say everything. But at the end of the day, do you know what happened? I vamoose. Yep, I disappeared. I flee for my life. Okay? So, this one night, my grandmother, as usual, sent me out in the night to go get the tray. You know the tray? Like I mentioned, I usually carry yam to my auntie, you know. I usually carry yam to my aunt, you know. I put it in front of her door for her to sell because they were staying like in this main junction, you know. Yep. So she sent me in the night, go get the tray. Midnight actually. And what happened? I came in contact face to face with a ghost. And that is when that ghost started haunting me. Anyways, I'm going to tell you about the ghost story in another video, okay? I know that this video is really long. Oh, let me just end here. So without further ado, thank you so much for watching. Please watch out for the next video. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. Eat healthy, stay happy. Bye bye.